Dr. Bosco speaks.
Our focus today is on identity. Probably in the not so far past, you have heard the mention of identity from one or two of my talks. But increasingly so, I trust that you have encountered the word identity from different quarters. So really, identity is the desire and the feel and the disposition that one belongs. Traditionally, in the African context, what gave us identity? The family we came from and the things we engaged in gave us identity. It is for that reason that you had families of agriculturalists, families of herders, families of smiths, and even families of herbalists. With the coming in of the colonial era and the educational era, the sources of identity tended to change. People who went to school in the 1930s all the way to about the 1980s acquired several identities: engineer, architect, lawyer, doctor, medical doctor, teacher, and such were the so-called lucrative identities that individuals acquired. And so the traditional source of identity tended to shrivel away, melt away, and ceased to be. What of those who finished their schooling in the 1990s, late 1990s, and in the 2000s? There was no more glory in being an architect or an engineer because, unfortunately so, there were no jobs and lucrative salaries to come with it. And politicians started having an identity in themselves when they started paying themselves large amounts of money, and they could access areas where they could get big contracts and big procurement components. Then political science and politicians started having a proper identity. And more people started desiring to become politicians, because in so doing, then they would get an identity. The component of identity goes back into history. Long in Europe and in the Americas, people like Herbert Mead and also people like Stryker later on in the 2000s spoke about symbolic interactionism. But I want to focus a little bit on identity today. We are gradually going back to the traditional ways of identities. If you come from a family where your parent has a particular competence and a particular skill, and you are a young person, the degrees that you have acquired might not allow you to put food on the table. But the competencies that you have, coupled with what your parents have, would accord you a clearer identity. If you do not come from a background where parents have already identified a family pathway, then individually open up your eyes, look into the society, look into the big vehicles that drive into the city centers, and start asking yourself, what service are they looking for? that which they are going to look for. Is it possible for you, and the competencies, and more than ever before, the strength that you have, can you be able to trap 2 or 3 of those vehicles and give them the service that they are going to look for? That might be the identity that you're looking for. In Africa, identity for the young people is that which allows you to put food on the table. It is not anymore that which was traditionally taken to be lucrative and to be the in thing. One last point as we move towards the conclusion. There appears to be a bit of an avalanche on everybody going IT, IT, IT. But IT is a language. IT is an instrument. IT is a language to help you upgrade on your competencies. It is a language and a skill to help you reach out and do that which the society is crying that you do for them. Embrace it. But again, do not address it as a standalone component, but rather as an instrument and a language that should help you check on the needs of the society you are living in, and through that be able to identify that which will put food on your table. If you are persistent, if you are well focused, if you keep at it and develop extreme resilience and do that which you desire for 20 to 25 years, you will have created an identity. Do not solicit identity in drugs. Do not solicit identity in plain betting. Do not solicit identity from sources where it is not found.